Okay, so you've asked me for a memory of working crew during my high school theater years. The thing is, I found my way into theater even before high school, but nearly all of my experience up to that point is being on stage. It wasn't until I got to college that I had the chance to work tech. I went to Hiram College, which is a small school, and partly because of the liberal arts philosophy and partly out of necessity, everyone in the theater department at some point had the opportunity to work every position on and off stage. And one of my early experiences working behind the scenes was my sophomore year when we did a production of Ubu Wa. If you don't know that script, it's the perfect opportunity for standard issue, beautiful group chaos. And our ensemble really relished that. You know, we did things like collectively hand-make posters instead of printing them. Our set piece was rolling scaffolding that everyone worked together to move. Instead of using the 550 plus proscenium Hayden Auditorium as it was, my favorite professor of all time, brilliant Rick Hyde, staged it so that the entire playing space and the audience were both on the stage together. So the actors and the audience were right on top of each other. It was wild fun, at least for most people. And this may have been when I first started to recognize the essential appeal for me in making live theater. And it was a revelation at the time. I love the collaborative process. I really like to be in the room with, and I would go so far as to say I feel like I belong in the room with the people who are drawn to do this work together. We all bring something to the table to contribute to this overall vision. And the big fun for me is to see what it makes. You know, what will this group of people at this time, in this place, with this amount of resource make of this? And then ultimately later, you know, what will the audience bring to the table? So I did publicity for that show, and I think I probably must have been working in the front of house too, because I ended up watching the show from the empty balcony up next to the booth. Really far away from the action that was happening on the stage and the audience. And for me, this was a first formative opportunity to watch rather than be in a show and see it from that sort of protected perspective, you know, to somehow be a part of what was happening but still objectively apart from it. And it planted the seed for what I do now, stage manage. I love this bird's eye view. I love watching it all come together, and I love helping keep it from fall apart. And this show did fall apart, sort of. So for one of our performances, we completely lost power in the old theater, and some security lights may have come on. And as it happened, one of the performers, at least, had a flashlight because they were recreating a lighthouse. But, you know, this was a small liberal arts college. There wasn't like a team of ushers with little lights ready to help everyone get out safely. I don't even think there was a God mic for the stage manager to calmly address the patrons and help them through evacuation. So first, you know, there's this hushed moment, and then some giggling and some wonder, and then time for the understanding to cement that this really wasn't a deliberate part of this crazy show. And then finally, another one of our beloved professors, Robert Mueller, stands and addresses the audience with this sort of booming, infamous words to all of us who were there: form a human chain. And we did. We all linked up in the dark and stumbled our way out together. And, you know, of course, this would be like a stage manager, house manager's nightmare in most theatrical settings. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. But, you know, the lessons for me and the memories of working on that show stuck with me. And over time, we string together these memories to tell our own story from what has meaning for us. And here's what has meaning for me from this. Live theater is a very human experience. It's collective, it's collaborative, and I love being a part of that process, especially from the vantage point of a stage manager or a production manager.